Welcome to another stage analysis video. It's Sunday the 9th of November 2025. Going to start off today with a look through the weekend watchlist stocks before getting on to the regular content. So starting today with NVDA, as we saw a fairly sharp sell-off over the last week, which has been the deepest it's pulled back since it's the start of the stage 2 advance back in. It started to push out into the middle part of May. So did have an up thrust and roll back over like we saw in a lot of the market. Not as deep as some of the more speculative stocks, as obviously lots of money has been rotating into the mega caps over the last few weeks, as has been noted in the various watchlist posts, etc. But it's still a sharp pullback by any standards in the near term here, and has come all the way back down to its 50-day moving average, which we've got earnings coming up on the 19th, a week on Wednesday at the moment for NVIDIA. So currently it's just sitting above its minus 1 ATR level, just below the 21-day moving average, and just rebounded at the 50-day on Friday. So if we go to a weekly chart on this, you can see the longer term history of this as it started to break out into stage 2 more recently. The stage's background on, you can see the early part of June here. So just turn that back out again. You can see the recent move hasn't been obviously as strong as we saw through that explosive 2023 to 2024 move, so which ran a maximum of 801%. So basically a huge advance. Currently we're only up 56% max since the recent stage 2 began, so it's a lot more tame. Struggled to push higher and has been going sideways for multiple months now. So as you can see on the weekly bar, slightly engulfing candle on that weekly bar, so the worst week that it's had throughout the entire stage 2 advance here. But stage analysis technical attributes still holding up here. We've got a starter score of 7 out of 10 at the moment. So, and the amount of relative strength still above the 0 line. And in terms of in its group, you can see it's actually relatively high within the actual rankings at the moment. It's still a strong group. The semiconductors obviously been in stage 2 for a similar amount of time as NVIDIA itself. So running above the rising 10-week moving average there for the whole group. But again, the entire group saw a similar kind of thing, engulfing kind of candle on the week there. So come back into the daily in the near term. Thursday's bar there, the most significant bar on the dailies there. So be looking for a move back through that level, and ideally the 1 ATR level around the currently 199.22 as a rebound move there. But if it does start undercutting this 50-day moving average, start trading back below that, then that would be a major warning sign for this, and at which point we'd then be looking for the 200-day moving average to come into play potentially. So in the near term, looking for a rebound, but obviously cautiously on the fence with this one in terms of if it does start to break this level, we would start to see a near-term downtrend, as that minus 1 ATR level is very close there. Zscaler, another one with earnings coming up in a few weeks' time, has been forming a cup and handle type of pattern over the last 4 or 5 months or so. It's started to grind its way higher again, but hasn't made any major progress out to new highs yet, pulling back into the previous pivot high from, what was that, back in the early part of July there. So currently closed right at the 21-day moving average there on Friday. So again, like NVIDIA there, we're looking for a continuation move. Come back to a weekly chart here. See in terms of its group, system software, it's actually one of the stronger stops in the group, but system software has been starting to roll over here, been going sideways. So it's actually the lowest close for the group there, going into what we call stage 2 minus at the moment. There's also potential that could be early stage 3 there. So, but Zscaler itself, as I said, that cup and handle type pattern that this has got at the moment, still holding above that. But one of the more significant weekly bars that it's had within the last few months or so. So back to obviously before this broke out, come out of this major base structure, started to push higher in early stage 2. Mantle relative strength was trending high, so it's still above the zero line by a good way. So relative strength still holding up at the moment. Only a minor pullback in the technical attributes there. So a SATA score of 8 out of 10 at the moment for this one. So looking for it to move up and through, get the 180R level potentially in the near term there around 327.07 to get the uptrend back up and going again. But at the moment, just seeing how that holds out again, close to the rising 50-day moving average in a near-term pivot from Thursday. If it does start to drop back below these levels, then we could again see a deeper correction back towards recent lows, and potentially 200-day moving average would come back into play then. But at the moment, with the turnaround on Friday, looking for a short-term bounce attempt back towards the highs again. But if that doesn't materialize, it starts to peter out in the midway through that level, then we could see a quick turnaround there. So again, cautiously optimistic, but obviously watching to see if those levels get broken on the downside too. VST, so the Independent Energy Producers Group, is another theme that has come up many times over the last few years. It's been one of the strongest groups of the stage 2 advance that we've had since the start of 2023. So this year's move, as we return back into stage 2 again after the April lows, and then started to make a continuation attempt. We've had much less progress in these stocks, and they've been going sideways for a little while now. So it has built up quite a big base there. We've got 4-month sideways range. It's actually quite close to the 200-day moving average here. So in the near term, we've got a potential spring attempt. So we're looking for a push back towards the top of the range again, up through that 50-day moving average, ideally holding that on any kind of pullback and pushing back towards the highs. But if it does falter around the 21 and the 50-day moving average here, and that would be a sign of weakness there. We've got near-term pivot high around the 2 to 205 area there, and then we could see again 200-day moving average test, and at which point we could quickly drop into stage 4 there if it did actually roll over here. So again, we go back to a weekly chart here. So VST, said independent power producers and energy traders, has been a strong group. Just go into the group chart itself, you can see obviously massive move over the last few years. So what's that, round down in the 170s up to the 700 level. So huge move, had a few significant pullbacks. The recent pullback has been more controlled in the group here. So if we come back in, you can see this is down at the lower end with GEV at the moment. There's some other stocks in the group that are stronger at the moment, but going sideways in this range, potentially stage 3 in terms of early stage 3. We've got a 2- from a technical perspective at the moment, but you can see there's a broader structure developing there. So this could be stage 3. If it does fail to follow through here, start getting back up towards the highs again, we could see that quickly roll over, at which point the stage 4 level here comes into play around the 169 level at the moment. So that could quickly drop off and turn into a stage 4 decline there if that was the case. But again, looking for a rebound at the moment in the short term, but obviously keeping an eye. Friday's low, pivot low there is key, and the 200-day moving average area at the moment.